man is charged with killing this woman and her 9-year-old daughter. Police say Michael Mcnair Jr. was running from police for over a month. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. In a news conference today, police say this extremely dangerous fugitive was arrested in Poplar Bluff.
Well, right now, Michael Mcnair Jr. is behind bars, facing multiple charges, including first-degree. Now, this stems from December 21st, just days before Christmas. On that night, police say they responded to a house fire where they found 45-year-old Latasha Brown and her daughter, 9-year-old Paige Buckner. Both were found inside and died days later.
Hours ago, U.S. Marshals arrested a Poplar Bluff man in connection with the death of a St. Louis woman and her young daughter. The victims were found inside their burning home more than a month ago.
Lakeisha and her daughter were found with bullet wounds inside their house after somebody set it on fire. I did a video about this situation last month. It happened right before Christmas. And in my old video, I told you guys exactly who did it. I put their face out there, name out there, and everything. Police are just now making the arrest. Fugitive TV, let's find out what happened. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, where we take a look at cases of missing people, unsolved mysteries, or cases that just have not been solved yet. And we take a look at it from a different perspective that you might not be used to, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. So sometimes I can see certain things that other people might not see just because they have not been on that side before. Well, I have, and I'm here to share what my experience pretty much. Well, today what we are talking about is Latasha Brown. Now, I did a story about her and her daughter, or I should say a video about her. It was last month, okay? So I'm gonna pull up the dates here for you. Latasha Brown and her daughter Paige were found in a home with bullet wounds, okay? GSWs. Well, they were still alive, and the person who did it tried to also set the house on fire. They were still alive, taken to the hospital, but then later on passed away. And here's the exact dates of when this happened. Now, there has been an update because a person has been arrested. And in my last video, I told you guys exactly who was responsible for this. When the media wasn't telling you, I put his name out there, his background, and everything, which I'm going to show you guys. And I'm also going to show you guys who helped him pretty much evade the police. But 45-year-old female succumbed to her injuries on December 22nd, 2025. She is identified as Latasha Brown of St. Louis, or actually St. Louis City. Now, her daughter, who was 9, was also in the hospital, okay? But she didn't make it. She actually passed a day later, or I'm sorry, the day before. So she passed December 21st, and then Latasha passed December 22nd. So pretty much right after another. Okay. So it says detectives are investigating after a woman and child were found inside of a burning home with GSWs December 21st in the Walnut Park West. Around 12 a.m., officers received a call to respond to a house fire in the 5700 block of Floyd. Upon arrival, officers were advised that the woman and child were discovered inside the home with wounds. After fire department officials extinguished the fire, the SLMB bomb and arson unit are requested to the scene, or I should say were requested to the scene. So they were found, and then when they were found, like I said, Paige, who was the daughter, she unfortunately passed first, and then the very next day, her mom passed. I want to make sure that's correct. Yep, the very next day her mom passed. All right. So like I said, I did a video on this before, and this is when they first found them, and they weren't saying anything about who was involved. Well, after going on social media, after doing a little research and talking to some folks, come to find out she was actually living with another man, was supposed to be her live-in boyfriend, Michael Mcnair Jr. Okay. Michael Mcnair Jr. also was on parole and got out of prison for doing some time. I did a whole video on that. Check this video. There was another person living inside that house, okay? She had a live-in boyfriend. We're going to get to him, and I'm going to let you know all about him. So ABC, CBS, and all these big news outlets might not tell you, might not show you. The man who was living with her, who was supposed to be the live-in boyfriend, Michael Mcnair, 39 years old, that you see I put in blue. This man has disappeared and vanished since this has happened. So we don't know if he's responsible. We don't know if he did it. We don't know if it happened because of him, but he's nowhere to be found. And he's supposed to be the live-in boyfriend. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this man's history, because this man was locked up. He was in the Department of Corrections, as you see right here. Okay. Possession charges, a bunch of petty stuff, almost theft, stealing, another possession, attempted, complete, a bunch of like, I don't know. This guy wasn't really doing much with his life. Michael Mcnair, that's Michael Mcnair. Um, he just got finished doing a 9-year prison sentence, actually. So if you see this man, please let authorities know. So sad. But once again, big media is not going to show you, but I definitely going to show you.
Court documents say Mcnair admitted he was in a relationship with Brown and got into a fight with her on the night of the. Mcnair also admitted to driving Brown's car to Poplar Bluff that night, where he has family and associates. The U.S. Marshal's Office got involved in tracking down Mcnair and said multiple people were helping him.
So as you see, yeah, I figured out who it was. And now I'm not saying the police didn't know who it was. I'm not saying that. They probably didn't know who it was, but just wasn't saying anything because they did not want to tip him off, to give him the heads up. And which is understandable. When the police are looking for somebody, they don't want you to have any tips, right? But here's the funny thing. They didn't want him to have any tips, but he was getting tips. He was getting tips that they were on his trail. And you know who was tipping him off? Another cop. A female deputy was tipping him off, letting him know they are coming for you. And not only was she tipping him off, she was tipping off some drug dealers. Take a look at this.
Court documents reveal a new Madrid County deputy was also arrested, suspected of tipping him off before police arrived to arrest him.
Mcnair was previously bouncing around many addresses down there, many vacants, and after multiple arrest attempts throughout January, he was taken into custody in the early morning hours of January 27th.
Of a new Madrid County Sheriff's deputy in Poplar Bluff on Thursday. According to court documents, 49-year-old Latasha Miller is accused of warning the suspect of a double case in St. Louis about their impending arrest. According to a probable cause statement, investigators found a deleted text message on Miller's phone that said, quote, "You better tell your peeps they are coming to your house." Police say that she sent that message back on December 27th, the day after charges were filed in connection to the killings in St. Louis. According to the court filing, Miller told police she sent the message as a way to push out the suspects so they could be caught. She's scheduled to make her first court appearance on Monday.
Well, since the media doesn't want to tell us a lot about that deputy who got arrested, let's go ahead and take a look at something real quick, okay? So you guys can see exactly who this woman is. So January 9th, now keep in mind, this is from January 9th. So this is more than 2 weeks ago, all right? Says a new Madrid County Sheriff's deputy has been taken into custody, accused of hindering prosecution and tampering with evidence in connection to a homicide investigation. Authorities say police were preparing for a narcotics operation when the U.S. Marshal's Fugitive Task Force alerted them that a St. Louis homicide suspect may be in the area. So they were getting ready to do a drug bust is what they were getting ready to do. They were getting ready to do something else. And then it says the suspect homicide location was next door to a target narcotics investigation site. So they're about to go do a drug bust on his house, and Michael Mcnair is pretty much was supposed to be next door. Investigators say about the homicide suspect came from a new Madrid County Sheriff's deputy with ties to the Poplar Bluff area. Believing the deputy was acting in good faith, U.S. Marshals invited the deputy to assist in the search. So let's get this right. Investigators say information about the homicide suspect came from a deputy, aka her. So information came from her. And they thought that she was like, oh, she's doing good about this. Let's put her on the team. During the investigation, authorities learned the deputy may have been leaking sensitive information to friends and family of both the homicide and the narcotic suspects. So before I even read the rest, it sounds like she already knew these people. She's in connection with everybody. Okay. The Missouri State Highway Patrol took over the investigation, leading to the arrest of 49-year-old Latasha Miller. New Madrid County Sheriff Joey Henderson immediately relieved the deputy of duties pending the investigation. Meanwhile, a joint narcotics investigation involving a Poplar Bluff Police Department and DEA resulted in search warrants on Mary and Foley Streets. And then the officer seized several pounds of meth, multiple pounds of marijuana, thousands of dollars in U.S. counterfeit currency, multiple firearms, drug paraphernalia, and a ballistic vest. 2 additional people were taken into custody as a part of the investigation. So this is back on January 8th. This is before Michael was even arrested. This woman has been in jail since January 9th. So they arrested her, and since she's in jail, that's the reason why they got Michael. I knew something was missing from the story. I'm listening to the story the news is telling us. I'm like, something is off. Something is missing. Y'all ain't telling the full thing because the media never tells us everything. So you got to go dig yourself and find out.
5 on Your Side has learned St. Louis police detectives contacted police in Poplar Bluff about the case. Poplar Bluff's police chief confirms his officers first tracked Latasha Brown's missing car at an abandoned house in their city. Detectives spent days looking for the suspect. Tuesday, U.S. Marshals, local and state officers arrested the 40-year-old man at a Poplar Bluff home without incident. They also arrested New Madrid County Deputy Latasha Miller for allegedly tipping off the suspect that authorities were coming to get him. Lisa Thomas says her sister and the suspect had been in a previous relationship. Now family members wait for the suspect to be charged and justice.
My mother shouldn't have to bury her grandchild and her daughter. My niece shouldn't have to bury her little sister and her mother.
So it sounds like the narcotics bust. The house that happened at, he was in the house right next door. Now, there was reports that the house next door was abandoned. I don't know if that's true or not, but supposedly it was abandoned. I don't know. I can't find out if that part's true or not. When you get these stories, there's always conflicting. One person says this, one person says this. One media says that, another media says that. Then you just got to take them both and say whatever, right? But she was tipping off the drug dealers too. Now, what I don't get was she tipped off the drug dealers and they still stayed there at the house. Bunch of idiots. She tipped them off and they still stayed there. Why have an inside person if you're not going to listen? Not going to listen. Now, this is not I would say an odd thing, okay? For some of you people don't know, there is corrupt police officers out there. There is corrupt detectives out there, okay? There's some cops. They're on the payroll. They're on the payroll. I have seen it. Cops might bust you. And I'm not talking about you the nickel and dime person. I'm talking about you're the kilo guy. You're the pounds guy. You get busted, okay? And let's say you get busted with a large amount of cash on you. I'm not talking about a few grand. I'm talking about hundreds of Ks crash, maybe even the millions, okay? Some of these cops, it's the most money they ever seen. It'll take them 5 years working in the force to make what they just found if they busted down somebody's wall and there was a stash in the wall. And all it takes is one bribe, like, hey, you get to walk away with that duffel bag, just don't say nothing. It's happened. Have y'all seen the movie Training Day? There's a reason why they made that movie with Denzel Washington. It happens all the time. So when I heard about this cop, I was not shocked. I wasn't shocked at all. I mean, you have cops in prison who are on the payroll, or guards, I should say, who are on the payroll that are bringing stuff into people. You know, even in county jail, you got some sheriffs who are on the payroll that are bringing some stuff into people. It happens, okay? But that is how he didn't get caught the first time. They had a warrant out for his arrest, January 8th. They show up, he ain't there. Voila, not there. Cops a little late because one cop already gave him a heads up. Well, far as I know, she is still in jail on bail. All right, she's still on bail, in jail, locked up. Interested to see what's going to happen with her, what kind of time she's going to get as well. But I wanted to give you guys this update to this case because I felt it was very important, because a lot of you guys that watched that last video on this wanted to know the outcome and was hoping that this person would be found. Well, voila, they found him. He is locked up right now. Justice has been served. And for you guys who are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment below where you're watching from, the city, country, state. Please let me know. And I try to reply back to almost everybody I can. I try and be engaging. For you people who are returning, been here since day one or even a few videos before, thank you so much. You've helped my channel blow up in the last 6-7 months. I got, what, 15,000 subscribers in the last half a year, 6 months? Unbelievable. Unheard of. People are asking me how I did it, and I always say it's because of you guys. Thank you so much. Please take care of one another. Like and subscribe. Fugitive TV, I'm out.